Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So we had a pretty good month of October. Philadelphia's ahead of us, they are even better. They did play 2 more games than us, but even if we were to win both of the games we have on hand, it would be pretty tight. So Philadelphia is playing us pretty good. Well, not us specifically, but as far as position in the standings go, they are pretty good. We have Volchenkov and Yashin that are hurt. They are about to come back, though. And that's pretty much it. I checked the trading block. Not a whole lot there. Not a whole lot going on. The most interesting player is probably 38 years old Claude Lemieux. So, yeah, I'm not going to get a steal there. Not right now, at least. Alright, so looks like we're going to have a pretty busy month of November. We're pretty much playing every other day. So let's get started here. Let's see. So Buffalo is our first opponent this month. It's today, and they are 4-6-1 and are 9th in the East. Now we have not played Buffalo this year so far, so let's take a look at where they're at. Ooh, quite a few injuries. Keith Carney, Ben Clymer, and Jason Pominville are all hurt, and they're not gonna play this game. In net, it's still the Dominator with Martin Biron. And then Philip Boucher, Nick Boynton, Doug Janik, Ronnie Sundin, Brian Campbell, Yushkevich, Ulf Dallin, Patrick Marleau. I think it's Brian Adams, Eric Rasmussen, Eric Bagunecki, Bobby Olick, Steve Conowalt, Chuck Brendan, Morrison, Derek Roy, Remary Paul Gostad, Maxim Afinajanov, Daniel Payet, and Antonin. So, it's a decent team, but it's not a good team, if you know what I mean. There's definitely a few decent players in there. There's definitely talent on that team. There's just not enough of it to make it a good team, at least in my opinion. And Dominik Hasek is 38. He's getting older. So let's play this game. Go, Sens, go. Alright, so they are going to Dominik Hasek in net. We are going to Ryan Metter. Alright. And we start the month with a win. 4-1 is the final score. So let's see here. We outshot Buffalo 39-23. And we had 15,428 people in attendance for that game. The game was in Ottawa. Sheldon Surrey was the first star. He had 2 goals and an assist. So it looks like Sheldon Surrey is going to have another great season. Patrick Elias is the second star with a goal, and Zdeno Chara third star with an assist. Whew, excuse me. So Buffalo did score first in that one, but then Sheldon Surrey tied the game up like 20 or 30 seconds later. 20 seconds later, so from Zdeno Chara, it was tied at 1-1. And then we scored twice in the second period. Pavel Datsyuk scored from Sheldon Surrey, and then Patrick Elias is 5th of the season from Nicholas Avlid and Brian McCabe. McCabe just came back in the lineup not too long ago from injury. And then Sheldon Surrey in the third period scored from Adam Denmarsh and Jason Spezza. 4-1 was the final score. And Nicholas Avlid is hurt. You're gonna miss 1 to 2 weeks. So I'm gonna need to recall somebody. Now, who am I going to get up? So I have Christoph Schubert, Nolan Yeah, I did get Nolan Pratt to start the season. Let's get him back up. He had won a spot out of camp and everything, so let's bring him. That sounds fair. Alright, next game is going to be in Long Island against the Islanders. So yeah, where I live, we usually it's pretty warm at this time of the year, but we had snow 2 nights ago. So that change in temperature, like hot, cold, it's really killing my lungs. So when I speak, I get choked up a little. No, I do not have the coronavirus. At least I don't think so. I don't have any of the symptoms, but yeah, that kind of change in temperature just kills me every time it happens. Alright, so we have some news. So Vincent D'Anfous extends his point streak to 12 games. He plays now in Detroit. Remember, Montreal got fleeced in that trade. So he got an assist against Edmonton. Good for him. Suspension for Ray Giroux, who is going to miss 1 game for the Devils. Chris Allen has a great game playing for the Avalanche. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Devils. Ooh, that's not good for them. So Tampa Bay got Vincent Lecavalier out with torn rib cage muscle, and he's going to miss about 3 months. 23-year-old, 3.5-star player. Oh. Eugene Melnyk is suddenly very happy. He must have taken his happy pills or something, because just not too long ago he wasn't happy even with winning the cup. Now all of a sudden he's very happy. We went 8-1. We went 8-1 in the previous month, so Volchenkov about to come back, Yashin about to come back. Alright. No further action needed for Colorado's Samuel Paulson. No suspension. Alright. Alright. Alright, so Volchenkov is ready to play. Yashin's about there. And we got a trade proposal from the Bruins, who are willing to trade me Libor Osternol for Vaclav Nedorost. And I am going to say no. Alright, so the Islanders are pretty good this year. They are 8-2, so that's good for 4th in the East. We have not played them this year, so let's take a look. They do have the goaltending, I know that. They have 2 pretty good goaltending there, goaltenders. Oh, there's quite a few injuries there too. So Jeff Finlay and Stefan Quintal are hurt, and so are Eric Brewer and Jason Blake. So those 2 are not going to play. Wow, it must be the goaltending that's carrying this team, because there's not a whole lot of talent. Of course, the injuries don't help, but Luongo and DiPietro in net is pretty strong. Yeah, the D is a little shaky. The forwards are okay-ish. Yeah, that's not... I think they're playing above their heads. I think they're being carried by their goaltenders. We're going to send Tim Thomas in net for this game, and we are going to face Rick DiPietro. Go, Sens, go. Ooh, we lost 2-0. Wow. So we outshot the Islanders 48-17, which means that Rick DiPietro is the first star. He really deserves it. 48 saves for the shutout. Second star belongs to Marian Osa, despite not getting any points. And Martin Murray is the third star with a goal. So the Islanders scored a goal in the second, and then in the third, and that was pretty much it. Not a lot to cover. As far as we are concerned, Tim Gleason converts to right defense. That's pretty good. I don't have a whole lot of right defensemen right now. Oh, There's a bunch of players available there. Bulatov, not going to pick him up. Tommy Pittsinen, not going to pick him up. Vadim Sherifijanov, not picking him up. Then Murray Barron and his 1.2 millions, not picking him up either. Alright, so Ray Ferraro has scored 400 goals in his career. So Ray playing in Detroit right now, 39 years old. Still a star nav, so still able to play on a bottom line. So 400 goals with a goal against Vancouver. Vincent Afous extends his point streak to 13 games. In that same game, he had a goal as well. Alright, so the next game is going to be back at home against the Oilers. Oh, Niklas Kronwall is suspended. He's going to miss 6 games, of course, playing for the Red Wings. Vincent Afous' point streak ended at 13 games. It was held scoreless against the Flames. Brett Hull has a strong game in St. Louis, 39-year-old, had a hat-trick against the Mighty Ducks. Suspension for Nikolai Antropov. He's going to miss 3 games. Sean McEachern has produced 600 points in his career. Pretty good. He had 2 assists against Toronto. 34 years old, Sean McEachern, still in Pittsburgh. Yashin's about to come back. Kai Nurmanen has been put on waivers for the 100th time since I've started this playthrough. Might be an exaggeration, but might not be that far from the truth either. Maxim Afinogenov extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Atlanta. Patrick Stefan is back from suspension in Atlanta. Ray Giroux is back from suspension in New Jersey. Alright, so we are hosting the Edmonton Oilers, who are also having a pretty good season. So we're facing teams that are having a pretty good season. Well, the Buffalo Sabres not so much. But the Islanders were doing pretty good, and the Oilers are 8-3. So we have not played them this year. Season is still pretty young. Nobody on injured reserve, so they are pretty healthy. Wow, look at that. Edmonton's going almost with a full Canadian team there. All of their forwards, save for Miroslav Shotan, are Canadian. Wow. Alright, so they have Roman Turek and UC Markkanen in net, Kim Johnson, Lilo Deline, Daniel Markov, Benai Sick, Matt Green, Luke Richardson, Scott Mellenby, Miroslav Shotan, Pascal Dupuis, Ryan Smith, Aaron Asham, Jason Arnott, Cal Brodziak. Wow, Cal Brodziak has shown up. Barrett McLean, Boyd Devereaux, Jarrett Stoll, Mike Comrie, Brian Wilsey, Harkov Shimmer, and Malt B. That's a decent team. They do have a good record. Alright. So Roman Turek in net for Edmonton. We are going with Ryan Miller. Oh, and it's a tie. 1-1 tie. Not a lot of offense in that one. We outshot Edmonton 53-19. Sheldon Surrey was the first star, he had an assist. Ryan Smith was the second star with an assist, and Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with a goal. We had 15,013 people in attendance today, and all of the scoring, all 2 goals, were scored in the second period. So Pavel Datsyuk scored on the power play for us from Sheldon Surrey and Patrick Eliash, and then Edmonton scored about 8 minutes later, and that was it. 1-1's the final score. Phil Housley has accomplished 1,000 assists in his career. That's pretty good. He had an assist against Boston. Now Phil Housley is 39, playing in San Jose, and still a 2-star defenseman. Pretty good. Sasha Gotch extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Rangers. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against Dallas. Suspension is over for Eric Lindros. Jay Pandolfo in Vancouver is suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. Trevor Linden has tallied 400 goals in his career with a goal and an assist against St. Louis. And Alexei Yashin is ready to come back to the lineup, so we are going to say, hey buddy, come to the active roster. Then we're gonna tell yeah, I think it's gonna be Chris Kelly. I don't know. Might be Mike Fisher. Yeah, I'm gonna send Mike Fisher down. Chris Kelly is actually scoring points. Mike Fisher is riding the bench more than anything. So yeah, I'm gonna put Mike Fisher on waivers. I wouldn't do that in real life, but alright, so we are about to host the New Jersey Devils. So the Devils are 6-4-2 this year, so not too crazy, not too bad. They are 6th in the East. And again, that's the first time we're facing them, so let's take a look at their team. Alright, so Steve Sullivan may or may not play. He's hurt. Martin Brodeur and Brent Johnson in net. That's when you have Brodeur in net, it doesn't matter. You're set. Kevin Moore, Giroux, Jay McKee, Mike Commodore, Darren Quint, Jan Moran, Scott Niedermayer, Brian Rafalski. So 2 very good defensemen, and then the rest is okay-ish. Then Gianta Parise, Claude Lemieux, Antoine Vermette that I traded to them. Steve Sullivan, Joe Nieuwendyk. Still a 3-star player, Joe Nieuwendyk. Ooh, struggling to 3 points in 12 games. John Madden, Harry York, Scott Gomez, Tony Amante, Brian Rolston, Peter Sikora, and Ron Pedorovicki. That's a good team. That's a pretty decent team. Should be in the playoffs. Shouldn't be too hard for them to get there. Alright, so the Devils are going to send Brent Johnson in net. We're going to go to Ryan Metter. And we won 5-2. Alright, we outshot New Jersey 51-27. Zdeno Chara was the first star. He had 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with 2 assists. And Mike Sillinger, third star with an assist as well. 14,886 people in attendance for that game. So New Jersey scored first in the first period, and then with 1 minute to go, Sheldon Surrey scored from Brian McCabe and Pavel Datsyuk. It was tied at 1, but 32 seconds later, Ron Petrovicki scored for New Jersey, made it 2-1 New Jersey after 1. But in the second, we would go ahead and score 3 goals. Chris Kelly thanked me for sending down Mike Fisher instead of him. By scoring a goal, assisted by Zdeno Chara and Daniel Alfredson. And then Alexei Yashin on the power play from Daniel Alfredson. And Adam Denmarsh from Mike Sillinger. It was 4-2 after 2. Then in the third, Alexei Yashin scored again from Tim Gleason and Zdeno Chara. 5-2 was the final score. Good game for the Sens. Oh, Brian Holzinger is available. Oh, he's not very good anymore. He's only a half a star. Sasha Gotch extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Kings. Ooh, bad news for the Canucks. Radek Dvorak is hurt. He's gonna miss 5 months with a fractured knee. That ought to hurt. And Mike Singer got hurt in the last game. Oh well. Alright, and there's been a trade between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ooh. That's an interesting trade. That's an interesting trade. I like it. So, Nashville sent Patrick Sharp and Chris Herperger to Pittsburgh for Martin Straka and Colby Armstrong. So Patrick Sharp is a 5-star potential player now with Pittsburgh. Straka is a 3-star player right now. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. We're starting to see a few more interesting trades than, when I first started this playthrough. When I started the playthrough, the trades were almost always insignificant. Now we're trading, we're seeing not superstars being traded, but pretty good players being traded. That's pretty cool. I like it. Alright, Alexei Kovalev extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against Edmonton. Alright. And we are about to play the Thrashers in Atlanta. So Atlanta is 3-10-2, and that's good for last in the East. So we are facing the worst team in the East. We haven't played them so far this year. So they have Marcus Naslund that's hurt. That's not going to help them. And then Daniel Corso is also going to miss the game. And then Chris Clark may or may not play. So basically, their best, one of their best forwards after Kovalchuk and Danny Eatley is hurt. So they have former Ottawa Senator Mike Dunham in net with Curtis Joseph. Both are 2-star goaltenders. Alright. They do have some pretty good players, but they have, I guess, no consistency. So we'll see what happens here. Tim Thomas in net for the Sens. Mike Dunham is going to face his former team. And we won 4-1. And we outshot Atlanta 47-21. Sheldon Surrey yet again. Well, we see his name a lot, it seems like. First star with a goal and an assist. Chris Kelly was a 2nd star with an assist. And Zdeno Chara, 3rd star with an assist as well. So Atlanta scored first in the first period. And it was 1-0 after 1, but then we scored our 4 goals in the second period. Alexei Yashin on the power play from Jason Spezza and Patrick Eliash. Then Anton Volchenkov is first of the season from Chris Kelly and Joe Thornton. Then Sheldon Surrey is 5th from Alexei Yashin. And Jason Spezza is first NHL goal from Sheldon Surrey. And Zdeno Chara 4-1 was the final score for the Sens because nobody scored in the third period. Memorable game for Jason Arnott, who had 4 assists against Boston. Oh, Yanni Horme is available. I'm not going to pick him up, but... Antropov suspension ends in Toronto, back in the lineup. Sasha Gutch extends his goal streak to 7 games with a goal against Washington. Wow. So Sasha Gutch is unstoppable. And it's always 1 goal that he scores, too, because he has 7 goals and 3 assists. Alright. Salinger might be back soon. Alright, we are about to host the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are having a pretty good start to the season. 9-3-2. Let's take a look there at their lineup. I see a few injuries. Antti Laaksonen is injured. Wendell Clark is injured, may or may not play. Manny Fernandez and Manny Legacy in net, so they're pretty much set there. Brett Edekan, Yanni Ninima, Jason Woolley, Jesse Wallen, I think it was. Yes, it was. Marc-Andre Bergeron, Stefan Robidas, Matthias Nordstrom, Wendell Clark, Dave Laurie, Brad Larson, Steve Carrier, Jarkko Ruutu, Tony Herkus, Andreas Johansson, Kyle Calder, Wyatt Smith, Mark Savard, Bill Guerin, Rick Nash, and Kirilenko. That's true. Bill Guerin ended up in Columbus. Wow, he signed a $2.73 million contract. I could not afford that for Bill Guerin. 5 points in 11 games, yeah. I couldn't afford that. Good on them if they were able to. Alright, Manny Fernandez in net for Columbus. We are going to Ryan Metter. Go Sens go. Oh, we lost 2-1. So Columbus surprised us at home. We outshot them 49-22. Marc-Andre Bergeron was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Martin Havlat was the second star with a goal, and Manny Fernandez was the third star with 48 saves. 12,750 people in attendance. So Columbus scored in the first, then they scored in the second. It was 2-0 after 2. Then 8:44 into the third period, Martin Havlat scored from Adam Denmarsh and Alexei Yashin, but it was too little too late. We lost 2-1. I haven't seen my big names too much, like the Datsuk and Thornton. I haven't seen their name all that much so far. So Eric Cole in Toronto is not suspended. The red light stays on for Ray Whitney in San Jose. He had a hat-trick against St. Louis. And Avlid might be back here soon. Oh, the next game we are hosting Montreal. Dave Scatchard in Chicago is back from suspension, and Keith Tkachuk in Phoenix is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Alright, so we are playing Montreal. We have played them twice this year. We won 1, lost 1. Montreal right now is 8-1, which is good for 6th in the East. We have dropped to 3rd. Oh my god, we are behind the Washington Capitals of all teams. The Capitals are finally doing something here. Wow. Alright, so let's play Montreal. Patrick Roy net for Montreal. We're going to Ryan Metter. We need a win here. We won 2-1. We're not scoring a whole lot of goals. Alright, so we outshot Montreal 29-24. Sheldon Surrey was the first star of the game yet again with a goal. Sergei Brylin, playing for Montreal, was the second star with an assist, and Magnus Arvidsson was the third star with an assist as well. We had 16,441 people in attendance. All of the scoring was done in the second period. Brian McCabe scored his first of the season from Pavel Datsuk, and then Sheldon Surrey from Magnus Arvidsson and Daniel Alfredsson. Then Montreal scored shortly after, made it 2-1, and that would hold like that. Oof, I thought it said 10 months. So Datsuk is hurt for 10 days with mild eye trauma. Alright, so he's not going to be playing for a few games, I guess. Yeah, I know that Datsuk is hurt, but I'm not going to put him on injured reserve for that. Suspension for Dallas Matthias Johansson, who's going to miss a whole game. Red light stays on for Mark Parrish in Colorado. He had a hat trick against Dallas. Alright, Nicholas Havlid is almost ready to come back to the lineup. Alright, Havlid is back. So back to the lineup you go. Who am I sending down? Chris Phillips hasn't been playing all that much. I'm still going to send down Nolan Pratt. Thank you for your help. Alright, we are about to face Buffalo at home again. Buffalo has turned it around a little bit since last time we've played them. Last time we played them, they were under 500, but now they are 8-1, and they are 8 in the East. So we're 1-0 against them. We beat them 4-1 first game of the month. So they're going to Dominic Hasek in net. We are going to Tim Thomas. Ooh, we won 8-1. We outshot Buffalo 62-20. Chris Kelly was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Alexei Yashin was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Sheldon Surrey, yet again, third star with 2 assists. 16,271 people in attendance. Brian McCabe opened the scoring in the first from Daniel Alfredson and Chris Kelly. And then Alexei Yashin scored on the power play from Patrick Eliash. It was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then Buffalo scored their goal at the... it was late in the second period. And then we managed to score 3 before the end of the second. Adam Denmarsh made it 3-1 Sens, assisted by Sheldon Surrey. Then Jason Spezza on the power play from Alexei Yashin. And Adam Denmarsh from Joe Thornton and Marian Osa 5-1 after 2. And then 3 more goals in the third period. Matt Cullen scored short-handed from Sheldon Surrey and Chris Kelly. Then Alexei Yashin scored his 5th from Daniel Alfredson and Chris Kelly. And Joe Thornton from Marian Osa. So it looks like Yashin's been piling up points since he came back from injury. Alright, so we are playing at home again against the Carolina Hurricanes in a couple days. Eric Lindros has recorded 600 points with an assist against Carolina. Scott Annan in San Jose is suspended. He's going to miss a game. Pandolfo in Vancouver is back from suspension. Alright, suspension over for Matthias Johansson in Dallas, back in the lineup. Nicholas Kronwall is back from suspension as well. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 13 games with a goal and an assist against Florida. Alright, we are about to play the Carolina Hurricanes at home. We have not played them this year. It's not going too well in Raleigh. They are 6-11-1. That's good for 11th in the East. Alright, so Mike Leclerc and Dan Einout are both hurt and not going to be playing this game. Sean Burke and Steve Veliket in net. Chris Pronger, Boumedienne, Jamie Rivers, Matthias Timander, Sasha Gotch, Travis Roach, Ruslan Saleh, Dovey Westcott on D. So now we know that Sasha Gotch is the guy to watch. Then Pavel Dimitra is still in Carolina. Adam Sanderson, Sturm, Castles, Johnson, Stahl. Oh, Eric Stahl has shown up. Mikael Nylander, Elonen, Langfeld, Jeff O'Neill, Jeff Irma, and Jean-Pierre Vigier. Yeah, there's a few O's in that lineup. They're going to send Steve Valiquette in net, and we are sending Ryan Mitter. Oh, we lost in overtime, 4-3. Wow. Oh dear God, we lost 4-3 and we outshot them 51-10. That's terrible. Alright, so Jeff Sanderson was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Patrick Elias was the second star with 2 assists. And Mikael Nylander was the third star with a goal and an assist. 16,097 people in attendance. So Carolina scored first in the second period to open up the scoring. Then we scored 3 goals. Marian Osa scored from Joe Thornton. Then Matt Cullen scored his 5th from Patrick Elias and Nicholas Avlid. And then Alexei Yashin on the power play from Patrick Elias. It was 3-1 after 2. We looked like we were in control. We looked good, but Carolina scored 2 goals in the third, and then Mikael Nylander played the hero in overtime and gave us a loss. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 14 games with a goal against Tampa Bay. And we are about to play Pittsburgh. Keith Kitchuk's suspension is over. He is back in the lineup. And Scott Hannon is back from suspension as well. Alright. So we are playing the Pens in Pittsburgh. First game of the season against them. They are 10-7-1, and that gives them the 7th spot in the East. Oh, there's a few injuries here. Greg Zanon is hurt, Scott Fraser is hurt, and Patrick Sharp, that they just acquired, is also hurt. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Marc-Andre Fleury in net with Trevor Kidd, Adrian Aucoin, Andrew Ferrens, Chris Turian, Michael Roosevelt, Brooks Arpick, Jeff Finger, Tom Pody. Yeah, that's a decent D. Quite a few holes on forward. I mean, sure, they have Jagger and they have Mario Lemieux, and even Ron Francis is playing at 40 years old. But, I mean, Jeff Daniels, Christensen, Sonnenberg, that's all alpha star talent. There's quite a few holes up front on that team. Let's see if we can vanquish them. Vanquish the Penguins. Ryan Miller in net for the Sens and Marc-Andre Fleury in net for Pittsburgh. And we won 2-1 in overtime. Alright, so 2 games in a row that went in overtime. Ottawa outshot Pittsburgh 32-23. Sheldon Surrey yet again is the first star. He's going to win the Molson Cup. Alright, so 1 assist for first star. Michael Roosevelt was the second star with a goal, and Daniel Alfredson was the third star with a goal as well. So Marian Osa opened up the scoring in the first period, 12 seconds into the first actually. It was his 5th of the season from Patrick Elias and Joe Thornton. Then Pittsburgh tied it up in the second period, and in the third period nobody scored, but 40 seconds into the overtime, Daniel Alfredson played the hero with his 5th of the season from Sheldon Surrey and Mike Sillinger. It was 2-1, the final score. Alright, Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 15 games with an assist against Columbus. Jim Dowd in Chicago is suspended. He's going to miss 1 game. Ed Belfour in Chicago as well has played in 800 games. Still a 3-star goaltender at 38 years old. Pretty good. Strong game for Mike Ribeiro in Montreal. He had a hat-trick against the Oilers. Dan McGillis lights the lamp in Detroit. He had 4 goals. He scored all the goals for his team against Minnesota. Brett Hull extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and 2 assists against Dallas. And that made it 12 straight games with a point for him. Alright, we are playing at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers. The Rangers are 10-6-3. That's good for 6th in the East. We have not played them this year, so let's take a look at their lineup. Oh, Jimmy Lundmark has torn ankle ligaments. He will definitely not be playing this game. Lundqvist and Richter in net, that's pretty good. Ken Klee, Brian Leach, Fedor Tutin, Yuri Fisher, Skula, Delmore, Staios, Sergei Zubov, Agman, Kavasha, Tripp, Kudashov, Park, Pirieta, Waite York, Holmer, Kovalev, Pisani, King, and Artmare. Decent team. They could definitely surprise us. Alright, we're gonna go with Tim Thomas in net. They're sending the King, Henrik Lundqvist. And we won 41. We outshot the Rangers 44-22. Marian Hossa was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Patrick Elias was the second star with 2 goals. And Alexei Yashin was the third star with 2 assists. Let's see here. Rangers scored first in the first period. Then Mike Selinger scored his first of the season from Matt Cullen to tie the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then Patrick Elias scored his second goal of the second goal for his team. From Marian Hossa and Alexei Yashin. That was in the second period. We were up 2-1. And then in the third, Patrick Elias scored from Alexei Yashin and Anton Volchenkov, and Chris Phillips sealed the deal in an empty net, his first of the season, from Marian Hossa and Niklas Avlids, 4-1, the final score. There's been a trade between the Blackhawks and the Oilers. So Dave Scatchard and Ed Belfour. Wow, Ed Belfour just played his 800 game as a Blackhawk, and they just traded him away. So Dave Scatchard and Ed Belfour go to Edmonton for Kim Janssen and Alexei Mikhnov. Wow. I think the Oilers got the best of that trade, even if Belfour is old and won't play for too many more seasons. Another very interesting trade. I like it. So Adamall in Nashville is not going to miss any more time. So not suspended. Pavel Bure extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Maple Leafs. So only a star and a half player anymore for Pavel Bure, 32 years old. Alright, and Datsuk will be playing in the next game, thankfully. We do need our best players to play. Alright, so there's only 3 games left in November. We are about to face Atlanta in Atlanta again. The last time we did that, we beat them 4-1. And it's not going any much better for Atlanta. They are 5-15-2. So that's good for 14th in the East. There's only the Lightning that's worse than them at this point. Of course, the Lightning lost Vincent Lecavalier, so that probably is not helping them. We're going to go with Ryan Miller for this one. Mike Dunham is once again going to face his former team. And it's a tie, 1-1. Mike Dunham played the game of his career there because we outshot Atlanta 66-20. And despite that, they didn't give him a star. The guy made 65 saves and in a 1-1 tie, it's not like, you know. Oh well. So Ilya Kovalchuk was the first star of this game. He had a goal. Matt Cullen was the second star with a goal. And Ronquist for Atlanta was the third star with an assist. So we open up the scoring in the second period with Matt Cullen scoring his goal from Tim Gleason and Zdeno Chara. And then Kovalchuk scored midway into the third. That was 1-1 the final score. Red light stays on for Robert Lang, who had 3 goals and an assist against New Jersey. Brett Hull extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against Boston. And that was 13 straight games with a point for him. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 16 games with a goal against Carolina. Jim Dowd is back from suspension in Chicago. Alright, and we are about to host the Vancouver Canucks. It's pretty rough in Vancouver this season. They are only 6-12-5. We have not played them this year so far. Let's see here. So we did see that Radek Dvorak is going to miss quite a chunk of time with a fractured knee. So he's not going to be there. Tommy Salo and Gard Snow in net, that's okay. Yerky Lume, Aaron Ward, Brent Sopel, Brendan Smith, Matthias O'Loon, Nolan Baumgartner, Yaroslav Spacek, and Brian Allen on D. That's a decent D. Battaglia, Daniel Sedin, Holmstrom, Pandolfo, Kessler, Linden, Manderville, Pekka Running, Pavel Buri, Henrik Sedin, Ivanin, and Umberger. So I think that they're a little bit better than what their record is showing. They could surprise us. They're going to go to Gard Snow in net. We are going with Tim Thomas. And we won 4-1 back at home. Oh boy, we outshot Vancouver 68-8. Daniel Alfredson was the first star of this game. He had 3 assists. Alexei Yashin was the second star with 2 goals. And Marian Hossa was the third star with a goal. 16,036 people in attendance. Trevor Linden was the first star of this game. Little bubble to my brain. Trevor Linden scored the first goal of this game short-handed. My apologies. And then Alexei Yashin tied it up from Brian McCabe and Daniel Alfredson. It was tied at 1 after 1. And in the second period, we scored twice. Chris Kelly scored his 5th from Daniel Alfredson and Jason Spezza. And then Marian Hossa scored from Joe Thornton and Patrick Eliash. It was 3-1 after 2. And Alexei Yashin scored in the third period on the power play from Daniel Alfredson. Made it 4-1. That was our final score, and Tim Gleason is hurt. That's his turn, I guess. Alright, well, I'm going to send down Tim Gleason, and I need a righty, so I'm going to call back up either Sami Salo, Derek Morris, or Karel Rakunek. So who's having the best season so far? 3 points for you, that's not very good. 6 for you, that's better. And 3. Alright, Karel Rakunek it is. Alright, and we have 1 game left this month. It's going to be at home against the Maple Leafs. Joe Nieuwendyk has competed in 1,250 games in a tie against Dallas. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 17 games with 2 goals and an assist against the Red Wings. A night to remember for Tyler Arneson in Chicago. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Mighty Ducks. Martin St. Louis is suspended in Philadelphia. He's going to miss 4 games. There was no stopping Brett Hull, who had 3 goals and an assist against Tampa Bay. So that was 7 straight games for him with a goal and 14 straight games with a point. So he's old, but he's still able to bring it. Alright, so last game of the month is going to be against the Leafs. It's our first meeting against the province rivals. Toronto is really struggling this year. They are 5-15-3. That's good for 14th in the East. So Steve Moore may or may not play this game. He's hurt. Giguère in net, that's pretty good. Ty Conklin as the backup, that's also decent as a backup. Matvichuk, Ian White, Patrick Travers, Thomas Cabarroti, Kevin Hatcher, Karel Pilash, Jason Marshall, Brad Boyce, Panyo Karovsky, Varlamov, Steen, Modine, Fyodorot Marchand, Perro, Nordquist, Smolinski. Yeah. That D is a little shaky. Their forwards are okay. They don't have a superstar, but they also don't have many duds up front. But that D is kind of suspect a little bit. Alright, so Giguère is going to be in net for Toronto. We are going to Ryan Miller, and we won 6-0. So we end the month with a shutout. We outshot Toronto 50-9. Marian Hossa was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Alexei Yashin was the second star with 3 assists. And Niklas Avlid was the third star with a goal. 14,918 people in attendance for this game. Niklas Avlid opened up the scoring in the first. That was his first of the season from Karel Rakunek and Alexei Yashin. Then in the second, we scored 3 times. Pavel Datsyuk scored his 10th from Brian McCabe and Marian Hossa. Then Patrick Eliash from Joe Thornton and Marian Hossa. Marian Hossa from Patrick Eliash and Joe Thornton. 4-0 the score. Then 2 more goals in the third period. Daniel Alfredson from Sheldon Surrey and Alexei Yashin. And Daniel Alfredson from Alexei Yashin. 6-0 was the final score. Good night for Jaromir Jagr, who had 3 goals and an assist against Carolina. 31 years old. No one could stop Mike Leclerc in Carolina. In that same game, he had a hat-trick as well. Todd Bertuzzi extends his point streak to 18 games. 2 assists against the Flyers, so Bertuzzi is doing pretty good right now. No missed time for Detroit's Dmitry Bykov, so no suspension for him. And Brettel was held scoreless against the Red Wings, so his point streak ended at 14 games. Alright, so we need to move forward 1 click to be on December 1st. There we go. Time is running out for Brian Sutter in Boston to turn things around as the coach of Boston. Boston is 8-13-2, so they're struggling. Joe Nieuwendyk was not suspended in New Jersey. Joe Sakic has tallied 500 goals in his career with a goal and 2 assists against New Jersey. Alright. And the players of the month were Mark Recchi for Philadelphia and Steve Shields for Philadelphia as well. So I guess Philadelphia had a really good month. Right, so that's they're our first opponents in that next month. Wow. Yeah, they're better than us. They are first in the East. They are 17-3-2. So that's good for first in the East. And we are second with 34 points. Alright, so let's take a look at what it looks like in the West. So in the West we have Detroit, Edmonton, San Jose, Columbus, Colorado, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Pretty good. It's kind of cool to see San Jose and Columbus so high. I kind of like it. Alright, and now let's take a look at the stats for our team. Alright, so Patrick Eliash is our best scorer with 21 points in 22 games, so we don't have anybody that's a point per game anymore. Sheldon Surrey, as we saw, was having a pretty good month, so 20 points in 22 games. Alfredson 19 in 22, Datsuk 17 in 18. Yashin does have a point per game, is 16 and 12. Then Osa 16 and 22, and then Thornton is having a little bit of a down season after finishing first in points last year. 14 points in 22 games, and then it just dwindles down from there. And if we look in the league, the best goal scorer is Brett Hall with 22 goals. Best passer is Joe Sakic with 22 assists, and the best point getter is Brett Hall, despite his 39 years old, with 38 points. So we have a good record. We win a lot of games, but we don't score a whole lot of goals. We don't have really anybody showing up in those stats anywhere. We're going to need to change that. Alrighty, so it is already this time. I am going to save my game, and I will go ahead and thank you for tuning in. As usual, if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that good stuff. That's always appreciated. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.